Hi, and welcome to Catherine's Low Income Prepping and Survival. This is episode 148. I haven't done one for a little while now. Um, I haven't had much to talk about. It's been kind of a tight month. Even though it's been a short month, it's February. And today is February 27th of 2025. Trump is in office. He's been in there, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? About 6 weeks total, I think, or so, approximately. Excuse me. Today, I want to talk about Dollar Tree, and I want to talk about living on a fixed income and some of the crazy stuff going on in the government. So, here we go. First of all, the Dollar Tree. First it was the Dollar Tree, and everything was a dollar. And occasionally you would get something under a dollar, which was always good. But being on a fixed income, being retired, and living on Social Security, um, we don't get a lot in other help. We get some other help, but most of it's cash that we have to use from our Social Security checks. And I don't know how to put this, but it falls short sometimes. And even when it falls short, doesn't fall short, it takes us a long time to save money to buy things that we do want after we pay for the necessities. And I wish I was in a better position than I am today and stuff, but back when I got hurt over 20 something years ago, believe it or not, I was not able to walk too well. I wasn't able to, I was in a wheelchair. I used canes for a while. There were other issues. I had to make it and survive, and I got better, but I still have problems. And when I think I'm starting doing better, then they found I had a heart problem. I have kind of like this weird extra heartbeat thing going on. And also, my heart starts to flutter sometimes, or maybe it's an arrhythmia. And they've sent me to the doctors about it. And of course, so I'm still considered disabled, even though I started to get better. And then because of that, and because of the fact that I didn't make the last few credits that I needed to make, they informed me that I only get, when I retired, I only get so much money, and I only get Medicare A and D. I don't get B. So I don't get all these special perks that you hear that people on Social Security get, like the card that they advertise on TV and on the internet all the time in between the YouTube videos and stuff like that, that says you may qualify for this extra amount of money every month that you could use for whatever. No, we don't get that. So we live on mostly our cash from the checks. Life is good. I'm not complaining. The reason I'm saying this is I'm making this video to show that you can be a prepper, a survivalist, and live on a fixed income and have things. I mean, a lot of stuff, yeah, we bought at secondhand stores. Most of all my clothes, except for maybe three things, came from, and of course, underwear and socks and bras and stuff. That all came from the secondhand stores. The only thing that didn't were the underwear and bras and socks. Of course, I'm not going to buy those at a secondhand store, though there are people who do that. They take it a step further and they do that. So that brings me back to the Dollar Tree. I used to go to the Dollar Tree because it was a dollar. That means you could buy 100 items for a dollar. And we've been talking about inflation and what the government's been doing about stuff and how inflation went up under Biden. Of course, it's gone up under other Republicans, Democrats, whatever. So what happened was they moved their price up to, for the majority of their items, to $1.25. And then I guess Family Dollar kind of joined them, and they raised the price to a little more. And I'll get to the point of why I'm mentioning this about Family Dollar, because now you got $1.25 items, went from 1 to 1.25. Now that's a 25% increase, if you think about it. How would you like it if you went down to the gas station and all of a sudden you had to pay $3.80 instead of $2.80. You see, this is what I'm trying to say. That's a 25%, but yet the government says we only have a 4 to 5% inflation rate, maybe 7, but not on everything. I mean, like that's supposed to make it better. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about this Dollar Tree thing is they start off with having specific aisles for the $3 and $5 items. And now, magically, some of the items are $4, $7, and stuff like that. And they've actually moved, and watch out, people, I'm warning you about this. Now, they actually moved some of the items out in with all the other items. So now they catch you when you go through the checkout thing. You say, I was a perfect example is I like candy. As you can tell, I'm fat. And I like donuts and cake and stuff like that. And I'm not going to apologize for it. By the way, I've lost 10 pounds this month. So even though I buy candy or donuts once in a while, I'm still losing weight. So hurrah for me. So hopefully, maybe in a few months, maybe by the end of the year, I might be down to 200, which is good because I'm way overweight. I'm just totally overweight. I'm actually I'm a lot smaller underneath this fat. So here's the issue. Uh, you know, I went in there and I got my partner some candy because, she can't eat peanuts or other things. She eats creamy peanut butter because she doesn't have any teeth. She got dentures. We bought dentures. They didn't fit her right after a while. I think part of it is she's lost some weight and time as you age, and your gums recede after you get dentures. So that's the problem with that. So I got her these chocolate covered sea salt caramels, but it said there was only 6 in the package, or I thought it said 5, but I was wrong, and I think there was 8 in the package. But anyhow, they had down at the end of the same aisle, they had the $1.25 section. Now they had a package of peanut clusters, which I love peanuts. And I love the crunchy with the gooey and the chocolate. And guess what? I got to the checkout counter and I was checking out. And the only thing that I bought, and I couldn't figure out why my bill was so much, but they've never really screwed up on me at the Dollar Tree before. So I get out to the truck and I'm looking at it, and it's $5 for the peanut clusters. So I could have bought 3 boxes of her candy that we could have had for this $5 peanut clusters, and there was only 6 or 8 in mine, and they're really thin and they're hard to chew, and I have some teeth problems on myself because over the last 20 years I have not been able to afford to really get dentistry until I could save up some money and get it. Now you've probably seen me on this site where we've gone and bought stuff, and like at Christmas time, make sure we put money aside for her birthday. We're great roommates too because we take care of each other. So we make sure we each can get some things that we need and pay our bills and stuff like that. The cost of this place is completely split 50-50, and I can't complain. But the thing is when you go to a store expecting the food to be $1.25, and it's not marked $5, and then they stick you with the $5, I blew up. I was going to go back in, and I decided, well, you know what? I was feeling sick that day, because of my heart issue and my asthma, and I decided, and I had a really bad day that day. I decided I'll just let it go. But I'm going to bring it up when I go in there on, when I go do most of my food shopping. Is between the 7th and the 12th or so. I do most of my food shopping. I try to buy for the month, and I go back and get milk and other things like lettuce and bread, to fill in. But I buy most of my shopping because I don't like to go to the store. I've never liked going to the store, but I do a good job of it. So anyhow, look forward to the videos I make showing what I get the next couple of times that I go. So that's it about the dollar store. Be careful when you buy from the dollar store. They've gotten greedy and they brought in Family Dollar and they joined together. So all the Family Dollars are closing and they're all just going to Dollar Trees. Some of them actually have Family Dollar and Dollar Tree in the same store and they have different color sections, which I thought was kind of cool at first until I got screwed over on the box of candy. And I've had to be really careful because I've gone in there and I've gotten, regular food items that used to be $1.25, and they're more now. Okay. Everything they were selling for $1.25 or for $1, then $1.25, moved up to $4, $3, $4, $5, $7 now. So be really careful. Anyhow, I think I've talked about that enough. The other thing is, you know, Trump. I mean, I voted for him, and he didn't do a lot of these things he's doing the last time he was in office. I think he thinks that he's now in there and there's not going to be anybody holding him responsible. And they're saying, oh, most of the people want this. Most of the people want Elon Musk. Keep wanting to call him Eli Musk. I didn't vote for Elon. I voted for Trump. I didn't even really want to vote for Vance because I don't know if he's going to be a good guy or not. And I like what they're doing. They're closing the border. They're cutting waste. And, Elon's part of that cutting the waste. But Elon is not an elected official. He was brought in by Trump to help him. And he shouldn't have as much power as he does because nobody elected him. I hope somebody, other people out there feel the same way I do. Next, you don't hear much about Vance. I mean, did he drop off the face of the earth? Is he doing anything for the country? That's what you got to kind of wonder. I have heard his name mentioned a few times, and I keep watching for him, and I haven't really noticed anything too important other than the fact he went and talked to Ukraine. Now, this is kind of strange. Ukraine now all of a sudden is going to get some help. First, Trump said he wasn't going to do it. He's going to end the war. He hasn't ended the war yet, which has kind of let me down. I like the fact that he's pulling away from NATO. I like the fact that he is saying we're going to pull soldiers out of a lot of countries and we're going to take care of America, because it should be America first, because the army was made to protect us from foreign invaders. That's at least what I've read in history books when I was growing up. Here, let me get a cup of coffee, a drink here. This is a cup from Ozark Trails, and it's got a plastic lid on it with a non-spill thing, and you can pop it on and off, and it's thermal, so you can keep your coffee warm longer. So there's a commercial for them, and they're not even sponsoring me. Okay, so here's the thing. They're changing things too fast. He's got 4 years to work through all these issues. Okay. And the other thing is, it seems like they're going after certain sets of people. I'm not talking about the criminals. The criminals need to be gone after. I'm not talking about the immigrants. If you come to the border and you ask for asylum and they allow you to come in and they give you that card so that you can live here in the United States till you go to court and explain it to the judge or to the officials, however it works. I'm not an immigrant. I was born here in the United States, so I don't know. But my family came from over in Ireland a long time ago, okay? And they came here, and some of them came here as indentured servants. I think I've mentioned this before. So they had to work off 7 years of labor. Of course, they weren't slaves, but it was kind of like being a slave. You had to work. Otherwise, you'd get thrown into prison for breaking your contract and being in debt. Okay, so my family did it the right way. We didn't swim the ocean. We didn't illegally hire a coyote to drag us across the ocean. Okay, or a Viking, whatever you want to say, from over there. This is kind of funny, um, at least to me, So, we're picking on the immigrants. I know we're not. And they need to get rid of anyone that's a criminal that's come into our country, especially violent criminals, drug people. They need to get rid of them all. They need to take them back to the country they came from, just like they're doing, and they're doing a great job about that. So the other thing is they're kind of messing around with Medicaid now and food stamps and other things. Yes, there's people that are abusing the system, and I totally understand that. I saw that when I worked full time, and you know, I left home when I was young, so I needed help in the system. I got me a job finally, so they pretty much cut me off of all help that they were doing. And then I went in and did the other things that I've done in my life. And now, after I was hurt and I couldn't work anymore, then they started, you know, giving me a little bit of help. And as time has gone on, I've tried to get off 3 times and get a job, but then I started feeling sick and I was having problems with my heart. And, I'm not making an excuse for myself. I'm just telling you what it is. But you got people that don't work, don't try to do anything, don't even volunteer. They don't help anybody. They just, oh, I got all these food stamps and I go down to the store and I bought all these things for my 7 children. And I know it's not all black people. It's white people too doing it. And those people are taking advantage of the situation. I believe anyone that collects disability, welfare, and is not retirement age should be made to take a drug test to get that check and the food stamps. I mean, how hard is it? I go to a doctor several times a year and they take a blood test every time. I wouldn't have a problem with them testing me for drugs. I don't do drugs. The only drugs I do are the ones my doctor gives me, you know? So I don't know. And I'm sorry that this is going on so long, but I really wanted to talk about this stuff. And so anyhow, yeah, Trump's really screwing around. And he's doing some things he shouldn't be doing. And then, he's got this Cash Patel and all these people. Some of them are even picking on the gay, lesbian, and transgender community. There's Tammy. I've just lived my life and want to be happy. I am who I want to be. I live with who I want to live with. I'm an American. I'm free. I earned that freedom in many ways while I was growing up and through the years. And there goes Tammy. Yeah. Bye, Tammy. Bye. Okay. Anyhow, it just totally amazes me that there are people out there that all they do is suck from the system. And if you need it, that's a different story. Like I said, I tried to get off of it 3 times. One time I tried to get off of it by doing work. I didn't have to go do physical labor. I didn't even have to go into work. I could do it for myself. And they jumped all over me about it. They said, well, we're going to take this away and we're not going to let you have that. And we're going to reduce your disability. And I'm sitting there going, what? I'm trying to get off of it. Well, they set all these rules up and they expect you to live. Well, it just keeps you on the fixed income. So Trump and Elon and Cash Patel, hey, think about this. You need to free it up a little bit so that people can do things and maybe they can pull themselves off the rolls. That's all I'm saying. Get off the rolls. Better yourself. I mean, I'm always trying to do something or come up with some type of way to do it. And every time I try to do it, I get told, well, you can't do that. You can't have more than this much assets. You can't, which they mean money in the bank. So you can't get off of Social Security, or now I'm retired. But what I was saying when I wasn't, you can't get off. So there's lots of people out there that want to get off the fixed income, and they can't. They don't give you a bridge. They say they do. They got this work program and social and SSI and SSDI and stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, it's all places that are funded, most of it funded by the government, and it's all scam because I tried working for a place where you put parts together, and I'm pretty mechanical, and I said, well, I could run a lathe and I can run a drill press and I could build these things, and because I'm mechanical. And they said, oh, yeah, that's great. You can make $15 an hour. That was back then, after I was able to walk good. They said I could make $15 an hour. Even though I was limping and stuff, that didn't matter. And I had to buy shoes and, they gave me some safety equipment, but I had to buy certain things like glasses and things that were my personal stuff. So I show up for work, okay, and I signed up for this program, and everything's great. And I go down there to go to work, and what do? They stick me on an assembly line with people with Down syndrome. Believe it or not, on an assembly line now, listen to this, a guy that picked up baggies and put them in, and he was blind. And this was for helicopters. I know I want to fly in a helicopter that was assembled by people with a very low IQ, a very non-mechanical situation, and that are blind. I'm sorry I'm bringing this up, but it just cracked me up. And they said, well, you got to work here 6 weeks. And then 6 weeks became 8 weeks. It became 12 weeks. And after the second full month, I got mad. I went back to the program people that set me up with this. And I said, listen, these are government people. And I said, this place is not giving me the job they were supposed to give me. They were not training me to make their parts. Something I'm very capable of. Instead, they're having me assemble parts, and they're telling me I'm doing too good of a job because, well, I don't have the same situation as most of the people on that assembly line. So it's very frustrating. I ended up having to stop because they said, well, we're going to take away your food stamps. We're going to take away your Medicaid after 6 months. We're going to take away this. They didn't give me time to transition off of it, if you can understand what I'm saying. It was very ignorant and bad. So now I've gone on for 22 minutes and 49 seconds. So this is why people stay on fixed incomes, at least a third of the people. If you're not retired or you don't have a disability, it's so bad you can't work. And I know blind people that work, so I've met blind people that work. I've met people that were severely handicapped to where they could barely get around. They have a motorized wheelchair, and they still do stuff, So I feel kind of bad that I've got this heart problem now. I would love to go back to work doing the security work. That would be great. But anyhow, I wish you all well. I hope you are having a good time. I'm hoping you had a good February. Remember, love your family, give them hugs. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Be good to everyone that you can. Stick up for your Second Amendment rights. Insist that your politicians follow the Constitution of the United States. Just do the best you can. Well, anyhow, y'all take care. Bye for now. Remember, if you're watching this, you too are the resistance.